Welcome back, you're watching Overdrive. Now, as you can imagine, we see outrageous, ultra-futuristic concept cars at almost every motor show that we attend. Most of these concepts never make it to production, and those that do often look nothing like the original concept. So imagine my surprise when I went down to Ibiza to drive one such futuristic concept and realized that the future is now.
First shown to the world in concept form at Frankfurt in 2009, the Twizy has become the poster child of Renault's ZE zero-emission electric vehicle lineup. Not just for its space-age looks, but also the fact that it would hit the road ASAP.
So here in Ibiza, what I have with me is the final production spec of the Twizy that's just gone on sale here in Europe. It's available in 3 trim levels: Urban, Color and Technic. What I'm going to be driving is the fully loaded Technic spec. And what's interesting to see from the moment you set your eyes on it is, despite the fact that this is in full production road-going trim, it still looks like a funky concept.
Sparkling in the Ibiza sunshine, the production spec of the Twizy still looks like it's been teleported straight back in time from the Jetsons garage. Officially classified as a heavy quadricycle for European markets, the Twizy is an effective compromise, combining the best elements of four-wheelers and motorcycles, even though some of the space-age design elements we saw on the concept have been sacrificed at the altar of practicality.
The Twizy is always open to the elements. Even when you spec it with these nifty scissor doors, windows aren't available even as an option. So in that sense, Ibiza is the perfect place for a test drive. It's also what we call a tandem two-seater. So while I squeeze in here, my passenger will have to squeeze in behind me.
The cabin or passenger space is surprisingly utilitarian for such a funky exterior. A steering wheel borrowed from the Laguna, regular brake and accelerator pedals, a simple LCD screen above the steering that displays range, speed and distance to empty, a drive select switch, a key and even 2 glove boxes. Like I said earlier, you can even fit a passenger in there, though ideally only for shortish journeys.
Now, one of the most interesting things about driving a fully electric vehicle, and this hits you the first moment that you get into one of these things, is the silence. You turn the ignition and it's absolutely nothing. You just get a little indicator there that says go, hit drive and off you go. But then again, as speed builds, you get that familiar electric whine. Now right now I'm doing about 50 kilometers an hour and you can hear it quite distinctly. As speed builds, it can even get perhaps a bit irritating, but overall it's very quiet, allows you to really enjoy the atmosphere, and it's quite interesting, it's very different.
At the heart of the Twizy, under the passenger compartment, is the lithium hybrid battery pack, which stores energy for a 17 horsepower electric motor that sends drive only to the rear wheels.
It is a tiny motor, but remember, the Twizy weighs only 450 kilos and it's electric. So all of its torque is available from the moment you first hit the throttle. And so, even though it doesn't look it, this vehicle can make quick getaways and dart in and out of traffic when you need it to.
A full charge takes 3.5 hours and should provide an effective range of close to 80 kilometers. But that figure drops to around 50 under sporty driving. Right now, I'm doing about 75 kilometers an hour downhill, and because all the windows are open and the air is coming through, it feels like it's a whole lot faster. 78, 79, 80. At just over a meter in width and under 2 meters in length, sporting 4 outboard wheels, the Twizy looks like nothing else you've ever seen on the road. built around a tubular frame with body panels attached and the heavy battery stored low to lower the center of gravity. The driving position is comfortable, offering good fields of view even though you still sit quite high in a narrow cabin.
All of which makes you think twice about making any sudden or aggressive movements with the steering. But here's the kicker. Renault Sport had a lot to do with developing the Twizy suspension and dynamic package, and that is enough incentive for me to really give it a go.
Pick up the pace and the Twizy feels a lot like a go-kart. Rear-wheel drive and direct unassisted steering allied to an ultra-stiff chassis. After a few tentative tries, I had a lot of fun flinging it into and around corners, never once having a scary moment. And when you need to come to a stop in a hurry, disc brakes on all 4 corners do the job adequately.
That said, the ride is harsh, kinda like a go-kart or a race car with stiffened suspension. So unless you're driving on super slick, super smooth city roads, you're gonna need a spot of yoga in the evening to work out all the kinks in your back.
So is the Twizy a magic bullet? Well, not yet. You see, even here in Ibiza, the weather turned, and once the rain began, the drawbacks of the open plan are quickly apparent. That said, it is directed for now at urban commuters in European cities, and with prices rivaling a Hyundai i10 in these markets, the Twizy could be a good second vehicle for the young, urban and hip crowd, the kind who come to holiday in Ibiza.